So, Dennis, who you rooting for in the World Cup, buddy?
Japan, are you in the house? Baby, come on. Baby, come on.
Just going right for Japan. There's no...
No, what, you're trying to say no realistic?
No. I'm just saying, like, there's no other, like, you don't have any fallbacks teams or anything like that. You don't have multiple, you're not united on multiple fronts with teams or anything.
I mean, I just kind of would like to watch, like, Spain. They have some good young guys. I don't really want them to win.
Okay.
Portugal would be fun if they won.
No, I couldn't take that with
Ronaldo.
That'd be too much.
It'd be great if they played Argentina in the final and beat them. I would love that so much.
That would be terrible. Hello, Jenny Z.
Hello, Bob.
I was watching SmackDown last night, and I thought about you.
I saw you tweeting about it.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it till today.
King got no love in Memphis, Tennessee. What's that all about? That's his hometown, baby. That's where he's from. He made Memphis wrestling, Jack.
I don't know. I can't
Jerry the
explain
King
it.
Lawler?
Yeah, Jerry the King Lawler came out last night in Memphis and interviewed AJ Styles, and the crowd gave no shits. They were just like, whatever, Jerry the King Lawler. We don't know who you are. Like, we don't care about you, old man. Don't you be a Burger King?
Unless you fight Andy Kaufman, we don't care.
He even made a Kaufman reference, and they were just like, what?
Oh,
like,
really?
Nothing. Yeah, they didn't care at all. King gets no love. I felt like, remember when Snoop Dogg came out at that hip hop award show? It was like, what? New York ain't got no love for Snoop Dogg? Remember that during the East Coast, West Coast beef? That's what I felt like last night. The King should just be like, what?
Except it was his hometown.
Yeah, it was weird.
That'd be like Snoop going to Long Beach and not getting any love.
Yeah. They just like forgot who he was.
Yeah.
I did like now who are you rooting for in the title match? Are you rooting for AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura?
To be honest, I'm kind of tired of that whole thing. And I kind of don't care. But I like Shinsuke Nakamura better.
That's part of wrestling these days is over promoting events.
Yeah.
See, but I like the idea. They've been fighting since WrestleMania though, and that's been like what, 3 months? I like a long feud like that. I'd rather
It's been going on longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they keep punching each other in the balls.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Running gag, and I'm just like I'm kind of tired of seeing these two guys.
If they don't suck each other off at the end of this, then
Exactly.
What's it all for?
Weirdest foreplay.
What's it all for, man? Is Ben joining us this evening?
I think so.
He seemed pretty
We watched
excited
the
about
show
it.
together earlier.
Such a diva. He's the Star Trek diva, Benjamin McCormick. But because I was talking to a friend of mine who's really into it, and he was saying that the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura thing. He said Shinsuke is a great heel, but too many of the matches have ended in disqualification for his tastes. It hasn't been booked properly.
Yeah, it just seems like it's kind of dragging out a little bit too long. I'm kind of hoping that they just wrap it up. And
isn't that kind of their MO though? Like especially when they're going to have a match in the pay-per-view, like a main event, they never have somebody win legitimately.
Yeah.
In intervening period, like on SmackDown or Raw, it's always like disqualification or somebody interrupts somebody else's match or something like that.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm still fairly new to the whole thing, so that could be the case. But
I mean, I haven't watched in 10 years, so I could be wrong.
It's all the same shit.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. And Ben is in space.
Ben, your stars got bigger than the last time that we saw them.
Yes, they did.
Gigantic stars.
Space Cialis.
Yeah. All right, let's get. We're only gonna review Homefront. We're not gonna do both of them.
Oh, that's gonna be difficult.
Well, it's gonna be difficult, yes, but I mean, it is 2 separate episodes, right? Or do you guys want to do both of them? Or
I'm down for doing both of them because I think like when you have a story that's this long that basically is just one continuous thing, I think it's difficult to talk about just one because I don't even remember where the first one ends, to be honest. Like we just kept watching.
Yeah, I mean it kind of ends where they start beaming in the streets. But it is like one continuous story.
all right, so I guess we could do the whole thing then if you want. Beaming
up to you guys.
in the streets.
Beaming on in the streets.
I don't need for money.
Beaming in the streets.
You don't know me, but I'm a changeling.
Yeah, man.
wish I could do a Michael McDonald.
It's a good impersonation.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah,
it's really not hard.
Yeah, it's not like the ones we're doing are good.
There's no wrong answers on this test.
Yeah.
All you need is a good falsetto.
You just have to sing like with your mouth closed, but just fill your mouth with air.
Now I will say there are better and lacking Michael McDonald's, but yeah, it's pretty easy. Just do it.
Do it.
No, I'm not doing it now.
That's fine. Maybe bring it up later.
I'll practice it and then I'll come back to you later.
All right. So
I'll spring it on you one day.
One day we'll do a whole episode where we all talk in Michael McDonald voice.
I'm in.
That needs to be on the wheel of Voyager.
You can end up with a 2-game suspension if you're not careful because people hate voices apparently.
They can't suspend me.
They suspended the commissioner. What the hell?
They can't suspend me. So,
suspend my pants.
Suspend my pants. This is episode 282.
Holy shit.
I know. Deep Space Nine, season 4, episode 11, I think. It's called Homefront. It's a 2-part episode. What's the second part called?
Paradise Lost.
Good titles. So this is a 2-parter and shit just jumps off, son. At first, when this episode starts, you think it might be like a wacky episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because
Dax is pranking Odo.
Yeah.
Oh, that wacky Dax.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's always up to tricks.
She's always tricking somebody, doing something wacky.
And they're even talking about the beard.
Yeah, they even mentioned the beard, which is cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're already, 10 episodes, 11 episodes into the season? It's like, now you're talking about the beard?
I've had this thing for 10 episodes, and you're just now noticing, old man.
I didn't hear you say anything when it was on your pussy.
Or your balls.
Your worm doesn't seem to mind.
Now, let me ask you a question. Okay, since we brought up the worm already, I told my wife yesterday that when you bang a trill, you're actually face fucking the worm. And Stephanie's response was gross. And then the second thing she said was, is it consensual? Like, is the worm into it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
well,
so
the personalities.
Well, as long as you're not raping the host. Then
no, but what I'm saying is, so like, but what if the worm's like, no, man, I'm not cool with this, no, because the host is doing what the host wants, right? Like,
no,
so they act.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
It's not like Peter Parker and Venom, or the symbiote.
Yeah,
it's like Eddie Brock and the symbiote. They're on the same team, on the same wavelength.
I'm just making sure, man, because that was her question. I was like, I don't know. I'll have to ask. So, okay. Yep. All right. So they're all working in tandem here.
Yep.
All right. Next question. All right. I'm just kidding. All right. So.
Yes. Gentleman in the back with a kilt. You have a question.
Shut up. I hate all of you guys.
I can't believe I missed Kilt Guy again.
Oh, my God.
I
was scared because we've talked so much shit about him in the past that when I saw him, I was like, oh, my God. I went and hid by Jenny's table.
Yeah, he hid behind me.
Hey, you know what, Ben? That's a real wrestling move right there. So then,
could you hear him like overturning other displays in the exhibit hall?
Where is he? Where's McCormick? He's probably hiding behind this cash wall.
But we had and then all of a sudden, man, Cap'n gets an emergency call to ops.
Yeah. Well, all this time, they're like looking out the window at the wormhole.
Right, the wormhole.
It keeps opening and closing.
Well, yeah, and why is it just this perpetual,
gaping, opening, and closing of the wormhole?
Teasing, baby.
Because someone's
here's my wormhole.
Someone's hitting it in the right spot, Jack. They lost control of it.
On the other side of the wormhole from the Gamma Quadrant.
Oh my God. Somebody's just straight mashing.
Oh, we're in the Smush Quadrant?
The Smush Quadrant, baby. It's on and popping, Jack. The ball's deep in the wormhole right now, baby. Can't take it no more.
How you like that, Prophets?
She's losing control of her functions.
Gonna get fisted.
Yeah. So there's some strange stuff going on, and then all of a sudden there's a call about 27 people getting killed. Now, okay, I just thought of this.
Mm-hmm.
So the bombing happened, right?
Yep.
And then the wormhole was going nuts, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So does that mean that were both things planned? Or was the bombing actually the trick of the changelings, if that makes sense?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because
I mean, without there's really no way to answer it without talking about what happens in the second episode.
Okay, well, but I mean, it's just because you come to find you go through all this rigmarole and yada yada yada. But I don't feel like we're getting right to it in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you avoid it. I guess
you really just yada yada the entire 2 episodes.
Can I just put a pin in it and we'll come back to it later? Yes. Okay, let's do that then.
Yeah, because I know it's a valid question.
Yeah, and I just thought of it. Wait a minute, the timing is off for that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
We see what it is that
light motherfuckers.
Light takes longer to travel.
Don't give me that shit, Ben. I'm not in the mood for that shit, Ben McCormick. Don't be making up no tracking knees on me, baby. Ain't no time for that.
I got nothing.
So then, Dennis, what else happens? Because I just don't want to talk the whole time.
All right. So
I believe this happened at 9/11, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
9/11 in the morning.
Well, no, it actually, because he said go back to timestamp, blah blah blah, 5/9/11. So 9/11.
Did he really?
No way.
I swear to God, 9/11 is the last 2 digits or the last.
Get the hell out of here.
It was. I do remember the last 2 being 11. The first time they rewind it.
It's
all right.
Something 5/9/11.
Now I got to go back and watch it.
I promise you.
Forgotten
Because we almost we almost stopped and went back on this because it was wait, what did he say? But I mean, this is honestly the first time I've watched it since I guess the last time I watched this was before 9/11, and I've only
so it meant nothing to you then.
Yeah, and so I looking back at it, since then, and I've referred to this episode multiple times.
Now I gotta watch it.
Yeah. I think he's right. Jenny, you watch it with him. Did you guys notice this while you're watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then why didn't they bleep it out like they do with the Biggie song where he mentions 9/11?
Because this is Star Trek, and that's the whole purpose of this. Is the 9/11 episode.
But I'm just saying, why don't they bleep it out
Biggie has a song where he mentioned 9/11?
Yeah, he says in Juicy.
This conspiracy goes deep, man. Biggie was in on 9/11.
No, Dennis,
the writers of Star Trek DS9. Ronald D. Moore was in on 9/11.
Dennis, we can get sued for that. I got to take that out.
No, you don't.
But my point being is Biggie in Juicy says blow up like the World Trade, and they take that part out of the song.
Oh, really? That's dumb.
So
that happened in 93.
I know, but I'm just saying they just take it out because they feel it's insensitive or whatever to the actual events of our time.
So it wasn't insensitive to the people in 1993, but
well, I mean, nothing really bad happened in 93. I mean, it's just an explosion.
I think a few people died.
And not 3,000.
No, it was a little less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was significantly less.
Yeah,
it was way more, and the building was still there.
If you count by 10,000s, it was essentially the same number of people.
No, Dennis.
It's
That's
more
awful.
scale to this Federation terrorist attack here.
There were 6 deaths.
Yeah, see, if they made this episode after 9/11, they'd have to bump the number up because 27 now, I mean, it's obviously terrible.
That happens at the average school.
I know. I didn't want to say it. I almost said it, but I didn't want to. I'm glad you said
here's
it,
the thing, though.
I'm in asshole mode this week. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's just like a school shooting, a run-of-the-mill school shooting.
Oh, God.
I'm not making light of it. I'm just saying that.
You know what?
That's how bad things are now.
Yeah.
That number doesn't shock us the way that it should.
Well, no, but that's the thing is that it does shock them, and we're supposed to take from their reaction how shocked they are that 27, because they say this is the worst terrorist attack on Earth in over 100 years.
Yeah, but because when did this come out?
93.
No, it's
96. January 1st, 1996.
I was going to get there eventually.
So, yeah, at that time,
Count up.
27 people dying in a single incident in the United States or, in the Western world or whatever would be a pretty shocking thing.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's even
before Columbine even.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I was in Japan when that happened.
It's weird because...
Are you trying to establish an alibi or something? I was in Japan when that happened.
I got yelled at by an officer for that. So
there's two on my side. Dennis and Jenny are on top of each other, and you guys are going hog wild with this. And Ben and I both are on the same side, just faces of regret. Like, no, God, why won't they stop?
We're diagonal on my screen.
Okay, yeah, Ben and I are on top of each other.
Yeah, and on mine, Bob and I are next to each other, and then below us, Dennis is under Bob and Jenny under me.
So you guys and yours, Ben, you guys had the moral high ground.
Yes.
We're wallowing in the dirt.
I'm obligated to do the
That's what I was doing too. Like, oh man. So on my screen, it's the right side is going, oh man, the left side's like,
the left side doesn't give a fuck.
But yeah, whatever. It's cool. I dig it. But now I understand the reaction is because to establish that this hasn't happened in 27 years. Bet it's red alert at your apartment. You might want to do something.
Yeah. And my phone is going off too.
To establish that it's 27. 27 doesn't seem like a lot now, and that's very sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's very sad the world that we live in right now, where 27 people in 2018 is like, oh,
so it wasn't so bad.
That's a Wednesday,
Yeah.
No, we hear 27 and we think, oh, thank God it wasn't worse.
When I hear 27, I just go, please don't be a Muslim guy. Please don't be a Muslim guy. Please don't be a Muslim guy. And a lot of the times it's not, and I'm very excited because then it's just a mental health issue. And then I'm like, woo. Okay.
Yeah, because we all know all Muslims have perfect mental health. So.
It's Allah, man. Allah's all powerful.
That's right.
Yeah.
And white people definitely don't do anything religious based.
No.
There's got to be something wrong with them when they go crazy like that.
They're just on medication that makes them act weird.
Yeah.
And
they're just need to get laid.
Yeah, they just need to get laid. That's the new one that I don't
They always seem like such a great neighbor.
10th grade.
Yeah.
When Stacy said no in 10th grade, it set off this chain of events.
Yeah.
So, I mean, women should put out more and stop friend zoning.
That was the thing in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was like, well, because chicks said no to him. Like, that's fucking life, bro. Like, and why you gotta just kill yourself? Why are you gonna take it out on the ladies?
Well, I mean, now it's our turn on this side to go, oh, no.
Yeah,
no.
When I was in school, when I was a kid, and too many chicks told you no, you had the decency to fucking go suck off that 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Not fucking hurt anybody.
Or you know what you did? If the hot chicks said, if the hot girls said no, you found the ugly ones. And then they said yes. And then you had some practice girls. You see?
That's how I get laid.
Jenny's a practice girl. But I mean, come on. You don't go running people over in the street just because you're a loser. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
probably should just start all over.
You fucking suck it up and you settle. Like
delete all this and start over.
That's fine.
Just kidding.
Yeah, this is dork track.
I know.
It's not always dicks and cunts. Some weeks it's
sometimes it's
school shootings and suicide.
Shockingly abhorrent.
But I'm just saying, man. You know I'm right. If you fucking can't get laid, then shoot yourself. That's the don't go.
Don't shoot.
What I'm saying is
don't drown yourself.
Don't take it out. It's your fault. It's not.
I hear drowning is like a very euphoric way to go.
That sounds awful. Just kill yourself while masturbating with the belt.
Other than fire, water is like one of the worst ways.
Coming and going. Coming while you're going.
I prefer to like use my bathrobe.
Oh, Anthony Bourdain.
Cinch up and go for it while...
Anthony Bourdain, dude. Come on. Everybody loves Anthony Bourdain now.
Apparently.
Wait, did he carradine himself?
Yeah. No, he didn't carradine himself. He just hung himself.
Yeah.
This was
I prefer the
carradine was an accident. Ben, what are you watching?
What's going on behind you?
There's like some smooching and some bare-chested dudes, and what is happening back there? What are you watching? Are you watching Smuggler's Blues?
No, I'm
Silk Stockings, bro?
This is Silk Stockings. I think it is.
Oh my god, I can't believe it's so hot.
a little something for the Patreons.
Whoa, look at that. That's a girl's butt. Silk Stockings.
Silk Stockings. Wow, that was on network TV.
That was on USA.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was on
okay.
cable. Yeah.
Basic cable, but cable nonetheless.
But this always happens when we have a wonderful episode of Star Trek. We don't talk about
the episode
of Star Trek. Because it's like there's been probably scholars that have spoken about the impact of this episode and the heaviness of it all, and we're just talking about Silk Stockings.
Whenever I talk about how predictive DS9 was of the next 20 years and how scary accurate it was with so many things, I'm generally speaking about this episode in particular.
Yeah,
I mean, there's definitely other episodes that really highlight, how I don't know, fantastic they were at predicting the future. But this specific episode, I mean, it was scary. I mean, there were a couple of times, as we were watching both of the episodes, and I would look at each other. It's like, that's too real.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, dude, it's like ripped from the headlines 20 years in the fucking future.
This was, I guess, 6 years before 9/11, or what, 5 years from 9/11.
Yeah.
5 years, yeah.
And it's just like you had these conversations with coworkers and friends. Well, I mean,
it couldn't happen here.
Yeah, it couldn't happen here. But then you had the conversation of like, well, I mean, we got to protect at all costs. What about people's rights and freedoms? Nope. We got to protect people. We got to protect them.
Patriot Act. Don't you love America?
Yeah.
Space
Patriot Act, bro.
When Joseph Sisko has his, the whole thing about the giving the blood to prove that he's human. That rant that he goes into.
That was quality rant.
Oh my God. I tear up almost with just thinking about how much we've given up in the last 17 years.
It was a great episode, man. And like just so much about it, but we're kind of just glossing over a lot of things here.
Sorry, you had B.A. Baracus over your shoulder there for a second.
He was smiling at me.
Yeah.
I felt really nice about it. But yeah, so there is an explosion and the changelings are the chief suspect. Odo, Sisko, and Jake travel to Earth to investigate what looks like a bold new offensive by the Dominion. That could be
I will say this is the first
to war.
This is the first time I believe the zoom in and enhance feature.
Yes.
Because it's the future. So I believe they can actually do that.
Yeah, but the cool part is it's still not as enhanced as the Law and Order zoom in. Okay, zoom. Okay, zoom. Okay, zoom.
Okay, zoom in on. Okay, there's a woman in the background. If you zoom in on her eye and get the reflection
of her eye,
and her eye is reflecting from a mirror, and then in the reflection of that mirror, you can see into the next room.
Zoom in, enhance.
Well, I mean, I've seen them take, old, scans or what, they don't call it, we don't have pictures anymore, I guess. We have scans. And they've, like, what was it, the Geordie episode where they built the, there's the one when the radio guy, the disc jockeys were on it. Shit.
Rush Limbaugh was on TNG.
No. It was okay. So it was the Alabama version of Mike and Bob. They were like the number one show that everybody who grew up in my high school, you knew these guys. And I can't remember.
Billy Bob and Cletus?
No, fuck them.
Those guys were hacks.
But anyway, they got fired in Alabama and they were like, well, fuck
John Boy and Billy.
No, and then they went to Los Angeles and got big.
Bob
and then they were on this episode
Love of the Love Sponge
of TNG.
I mean, I'm coming up with all of them. I don't know what else to say.
And so they were the aliens, and it was the one where what was it? Geordie slowly starts like turning into a monster thing and would hide in the dark or whatever.
The Thriller video. It was Geordie Thriller. Go away.
Yes, that's why he wears the visor now, so you can't see those glowing eyes.
He got infected by the alien DNA, right?
I like you, but there's something I got to tell you. I'm probably going to fall in this elevator shaft and get thrown around like a dumbass because that's what they do to me on this show. I got lots of bruises and stuff.
But I'm a karate man. Karate man bruises on the inside.
But yes, they go to Earth.
Yeah, and they meet. See, this was confusing because the ship they go to Earth on is the Lakota.
Yes.
The admiral that they meet when they get to Earth is Admiral Layton. And so already I've got too many L's in my life. And I'm just like, Layton, Lakota. Okay.
Huh. And then we meet Layton, who is the vice admiral who Benjamin once served under, who is also on 6 Feet Under.
Yep. He's been on a lot of stuff.
I didn't realize I totally forgot he was on 6 Feet Under. Okay. Huh.
Which didn't, what's his name that wrote for DS9? Didn't he write for 6 Feet Under?
No.
The guy who did Discovery.
What's his name there?
Not Singer, but
Fuller.
Fuller.
That's your man's in them.
Didn't Fuller do 6 Feet Under?
I don't know. I gotta look.
I thought he did. And he started out as a writer on DS9, and then he.
That's quite a career.
So.
I haven't watched 6 Feet Under. I might watch it.
Well, now his attaché, Commander Benton or Bentley or
She
whatever.
fine as fuck.
Yeah, well, that's Dr. Leah Brahms.
She looks a lot different.
That's Leah Brahms. I thought Leah Brahms was a black woman.
She is.
That lady didn't look black to me. Maybe she had that Michael Jackson skin disease.
She's one of the ones you can pass.
Dennis, that's real funny.
What?
Allowed to say it.
Okay. All right. I didn't realize that was a.
I watched both episodes, and it was just like it was bug. She's like,
yeah, what's your name?
On something else.
Leah Brahms.
And
I just saw the Leia Brahm episode recently because it was on Heroes and Icons, and this is the one where Geordie's creeping on the holodeck one, and it's fucking weird. Yeah. Like it's just
especially
odd.
when you know where this goes.
Yeah, where she's like, you're a fucking maniac. Like that's got to be illegal somewhere.
I thought we got rid of you guys in the Me Too movement.
Like that's got to
What
be
the
illegal
hell?
where you can just make.
It's not date rape if it's a hologram.
It's got to be some kind
It's
of
unethical
gray area.
But they brought it back in DS9 when that weird alien guy was trying to bang Kira.
Yeah.
Like intellectual property laws or something, or I mean something.
Likeness rights.
Yeah, it's got to be something. And then she pulls Geordie's card out. She's like, "You a motherfucking maniac." You better get out my face, Geordie.
But don't they get married in an alternate universe or alternate timeline or something?
Yes.
They have to have a great second date then, because this first one.
She was already married when they met him the first time, so he broke up that happy home. So
he sat there waiting, and then one
slid
day
up in them DMs, bro.
There was her
Space
husband
DMs.
had like a freak engineering accident that
caused by Geordie the Bull.
Space station.
Oh, he pulled a Picard on her?
Hang on, Jenny was making a space station blow up joke, and you guys were talking all over. God damn it.
I'm just saying, like, he might have just been on a space station where Riker just happened to go. Maybe he owed Geordie a favor.
hook a brother up.
You know what? That could happen. Like, look, you blow up my space station, I'll blow up your space station.
Yeah, it's like strangers on a train.
This is the original
from the train.
This is the original Picard maneuver where you have your friend's wife or friend's what am I trying to say?
I don't know, but you're just
the woman that you want to bang. You set up for her husband to get killed.
And you don't want to know something else cool? Leah Brahms, who is this lady on this show now, Deep Space Nine, Erica Benton. She was also on Spencer for Hire. So she knows.
I thought you were going to say Silk Stockings.
No,
I was hoping.
Dude, I'd watch that episode a lot with my dick
I
out.
would put it on right now.
Right?
I'd have my pee-pee all in my hands. It would get weird for the Patreon.
I think they'd be into it.
And she was in some movies too, but who cares? But yeah, she good. But yeah, she fine. And that's now not to Leighton looks like he's a member of like an Eagles cover band. Is that just me or no? Like
I can definitely see that.
Totally.
Like, he goes to like the Academy bar.
He does kind of have a Glenn Fry haircut.
He looks like fucking Glenn Fry.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, dude, this motherfucker is totally in an Eagles cover band called Tequila Sunrise, and they be playing the fucking the bars around campus to try to get young Trim. That's how he meets all the Red Squadron dudes. Because like, man, your Eagles cover band's the best. Vice Admiral Leighton's like, call me Lates. Who's that chick over there, bro? He's like, oh, that's Betty. She's a fucking chem major, 3rd year. Hook me up. You want to be in Red Squadron, bro? Got to let me in that. Yeah. And then he fucking sleazes on him.
Yeah.
For real.
I believe it.
I can feel it in my bones.
So can he.
Hey.
Fucking Smuggler's Blues, bro. He does a few solos, like, you know, a few solo like Joe Walsh songs too, because people really like it. He does Fry songs. No Don Henley though, because he doesn't like the Don Henley stuff.
No.
Thinks Don Henley's a puss.
Not even all she wants to do is dance.
Maybe that
seems like a good one to scam on the younger chicks.
Yeah, maybe if like a young hot chick from the academy's like, play all she wants to do is dance.
Yeah. All right, I'll do it for you, sweetie.
All right, I'll do it for you, honey. All right, boys. Yeah, totally gets it in. And then, some cool
We're not playing down at the Sunset Grill. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, fuck that song. You're a dick if you want to hear that. So what else happens after the Eagles cover band?
Well, there's one scene where I don't know if you want to talk about it, but O'Brien and Bashir are like in their stupid parkas, pretending to be aviators. And I bring it up because I want to say that O'Brien has the worst English accent. Like, it's on par with LaForge with Geordie's when he was pretending to be in Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
And
it's really
so
bad.
Can we drop slurs against ethnic groups or whatever?
Yeah,
Because they're going to go back and get some more Jerry's.
Well, and Cork is the one that says it.
No,
So this is something that they've said. They've done this holodeck scenario quite a bit. If Cork knows all the familiarity.
No, what's a Jerry? Is that a German?
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Nobody cares about them, and they deserve it. I mean, they're a bunch of fucking Nazis.
It's
true.
You know, like
But in the next episode, when Cisco's talking about let's go bomb some nips, and you're like, whoa.
No, see, but that's not cool, bro. That's
Okay.
Japanese are a-okay by me, Dennis.
I'm just saying.
talking about? They're not our allies anymore.
Dennis, well, nobody is.
The Koreans, I think Russia and North
Korea we're the axis
Like,
of evil
damn it!
now.
Exactly. Now we're
I don't
the
even
axis.
think China likes us anymore.
Mm-mm.
No, they
Georgia
love
and
us. They
Korea.
love us, man. They got everything they want in that summit.
Everybody did. Except
Except
our
for the
allies.
For freedom.
But it makes sense. I mean, Donald Trump's a fucking bullshit phony strongman, so like he plays up to all the other like real strongmen, you know?
And they go suck each other off.
Like, how can you not like Justin Trudeau, but you're amped on hanging out with fucking Kim Jong-un? Like, how does that work?
He thinks he looks good standing next to Kim Jong-un.
I guess.
As opposed to Justin Trudeau. You don't want to stand next to that guy.
Kim Jong-un got a flat ass back of his head too, man. That motherfucker is flat as shit. He could eat dinner off of that damn thing, like just like a plate.
I need to look this up immediately.
The back of his head is like Manny Fresh flat. Like that shit is flat as a motherfucker.
Never seen him and Manny in the same room at the same
Oh
time.
my god.
That's a good point.
And when after the election happened, Manny dropped off the show. Right around the time he
had to get a nuclear program spinning up.
Nah, Manny's probably
Wait
a
a
Trumper,
minute.
and he didn't want to hear us bash his boy. My favorite are ethnic Trumpers. Like, motherfucker, what do you think? How do you do this?
and Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
And we talked about this tonight. I cannot understand what show you were watching. If you're like a super Trump supporter, if you're hyper conservative, and you love Star Trek.
Yeah, this show does not speak to you.
It's like they have this socialist utopian future
where with aliens and brown people, and like there's a goddamn cat who's the president of the Federation. The guy looks like a fucking cat. You're not amped on that. Like there's somewhere like Trump would not be cool with that. Oh, what the fuck?
So I'm just it damages me somehow when I run into
It's
these.
like, how do you watch this particular episode and not come away with some sort of like a
They
message
just skip it.
about how you apply it to regular life, and our
But
country.
they're like, well, the first, 3/4 of this episode is great.
Yeah, when they take over and like take away people's freedoms and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
No, I mean
Man.
when the Patriot Act was going through, and there's all this, oh my God, we have to protect. I kept thinking to myself, I've seen this before. I know where this ends. And yeah, I mean, it's like we've been warned our entire lives about this.
But it is an interesting question, though. I mean, like,
Well, didn't his Cisco's old boy, the other commander, the one that went renegade and joined the Maquis?
yeah.
Didn't he say, Earth and its little paradise or whatever? But you take that away, and how would they react?
Good point, Ben. It's a good point. I don't know. It was
And
definitely.
we got to see how they were. And this is just another example of a fucking Starfleet admiral right on the verge of trying to take over.
I
There
tell
are a
you,
lot of
like,
This is
something
all
about
happens a lot.
admirals must have a lot of power because they get drunk with it very
This
quickly.
guy's
It
not
seems
even a
like.
real admiral. He's a fucking vice admiral, son. Like, he's
Well,
not.
no, he's an admiral of vice. You were reading that wrong. He has all the vices, and
I think most of the admirals that we see in Star Trek are like rear admirals, right? Like they're one or two star.
The three pips are the vices, and we see a lot of those. We see.
But what's her name? Nikoyev or whatever.
I thought she was a
I
three
think
star.
she's a 1 or 2.
I thought she was a vice.
What about the
admiral.
dudes from Six who try to fucking sabotage
Admiral
the
Cartwright?
Klingons? Yeah.
I
You
think
mean,
Cartwright's a full admiral, isn't he?
Yeah, but he was like commander. He was like what chief of operations or something.
God, Six is such a good movie.
And he's also Cisco's dad, which
Is that the same actor?
yeah, he's also the guy from
Really?
To Kill a Mockingbird, Brock Peters. Yeah.
Now, is that the same guy who's in
bust up the
4?
shifter robe, huh?
Is that the same guy who's in 4?
Yes, Brock Peters.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I love how Star Trek just recycles motherfuckers. Like,
Yep.
you were good, you showed up on time, and you remembered your lines. So come on.
back in.
Now you Cisco's dad.
Yeah,
He's good as Cisco's dad, and like he's just weird enough. Like the whole line with like, you know what, if you see me chasing some girls, then you know I'm doing good. It's like, bitch, you're like 80 years old and none of your organs work. Like, if you're talking about chasing shrimp, it's just weird enough. And it's gonna be weird to hear your 75-year-old dad talk about trying to fuck chicks.
it's even weirder when it's your 75-year-old granddad.
Yeah. Come on, Grandpa, stop talking about that shit. Golly.
One thing that did strike me, though, at how different things are now compared to when this episode came out was, like he was telling Jake, there's only 3 things a bed is good for.
Yeah.
Like sleeping, dying,
Fuck.
or making love to a beautiful woman. I was like, oh, man, that's really heteronormative of him to say something like that. Like nowadays, you'd have to be like, oh, with
Or
the
making
person,
love.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just say making love.
Yeah, but it seemed very like, I was like, what if Jake's gay?
What if
Like,
he's
that would
Well, he
just
is a writer.
drive him further into the closet.
Either way, he doesn't want to hear about his grandfather's dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gay, straight, bi, trans. You just don't want to hear about your grandparents.
Which I think
That's
is what it
exciting.
really boils down to, is you don't want to hear about your grandpa's wiener.
And what is it with the Cisco family? All the women are dead.
Because they
Well,
beat
his
they get sex to
sister-
death.
His sister's still alive, isn't she?
Do we ever see her?
I can't recall.
This might be an imaginary sister.
Well, the
I
father mentions her.
don't know if we
Trying
have
to-
a real sister.
Trying to throw the cops off the trail. No, we have a sister.
I swear to God, she's real.
She's bald and has a goatee. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
She lives in Canada. You wouldn't know her.
She
Yeah,
lives in
exactly.
Canada.
She's from California.
You know.
That's a good 5 minutes away.
Don't go looking there, though.
I'm in my office in San Francisco, but I think I want to go have lunch with my dad in New Orleans. Hold on.
Yeah, it must be nice.
I did really like that. I like that they kind of, it seems like that kind of an abuse of teleporter technology.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go from San Francisco to New Orleans.
But isn't that how it works, though? Like, can't you do that? Isn't that
Yeah,
the
you
whole-
can. it seems so weird when they could go to like a spaceship, orbiting the planet or something. But no, I'm just gonna go have lunch. Like
Can everybody do this?
I would
As far
absolutely
as
do
I
it
know,
if I could.
How much power does it take to transport somebody like that?
A lot.
Oh, I thought you meant like how much power do you have to let that happen? I don't know.
Oh, it's
Whatever, man. Do what you want.
a lot. But
I mean, to be fair, Cisco
Is this why the Federation like brings in other planets so they can steal their resources to support this paradise on Earth?
The Federation is a post-scarcity society. We have come up with.
It's not possible. Maybe on the core worlds, but out on the distant colonies.
You fringe guys might have a problem with it, but we're post-scarcity society.
Bajorans don't know nothing about post-scarcity.
Are they a member of the Federation?
They're dumbass gods, and they're hoping the wormhole. The prophets are talking to a bunch of dummies. I gotta
go worship this rock in a box.
I'm into Worf. This just makes me like Klingons even more when he's just like, yeah, ancient Klingon warriors killed our gods because we found them annoying. I'm like, that shit rules.
Yeah. I like how they're not like atheists or we evolved past having gods.
They just killed them.
No, we had them and we killed them. Yeah, just
that's
straight
the best. Like, I'm a Klingon, whatever religion they are. That's what I want to be. Yeah, we just found our gods annoying, so we just killed them all.
It seems weird that they would still worship them at that point because, like, basically, if they killed them, wouldn't they be pussies?
They worship them. They worship the warriors that killed the gods.
Yeah, and they acknowledge that there were gods.
Yeah.
But,
Kahless went out and killed a bunch of gods, I imagine, right? Is Kahless one of the god slayers?
No. Kahless killed. Was it Morg?
And they made a wrestling statue of it.
Morg? Wrestling. No, who was the guy?
Morg, Galactus's herald?
I've got a Kahless book over here. Ben, you ever read this book? Somebody gave it to me because somebody gave it away, and they were like, hey, you like Star Trek.
We now read from the book of Kahless.
You ever read this book, Ben?
No.
All right, well, I'll read it and tell you if it stinks.
It's a Worf book?
No, it's a Kahless book.
No, but I thought, was that not Worf on the cover?
No, that's fucking Kahless, bro. It's Worf is right there, but the big one is Kahless.
Now, is that Kahless
it's hard
from
to see,
the episode Kahless?
Reflection.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because there was an episode where Worf meets Kahless.
I know, motherfucker. I've seen it. We did a whole series. And then there's this book, too. Have you ever read Shadows of the Sun?
No, but I've at least heard of that one.
Yeah, they just give motherfuckers sons on this show for no apparent reason on these books. And then there's Dark Mirror.
I do know that book.
Is it good?
It's a TNG mirror.
Well, there's Dark Mirror, there's Ashes of Eden, there's The Return. And it basically, these are the William Shatner books. Oh. And Dark Mirror, I think, is like the third or fourth one.
This one is written by Diane Dunn.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you mansplaining her, bro? Shatner didn't write this. His name's not there. Look.
Oh, so that's not the one then. Shatner did a mirror. Okay, so Shatner doesn't like the fact that Kirk is dead, so he then writes.
Get over it.
Like The Return or From the Ashes. I forget.
Return of the Mac. That's what it's called.
Return of the Kirk.
Once
again. So he basically writes an episode, or he writes
that I love you.
Where Kirk gets assimilated. Dead Kirk gets assimilated. He gets assimilated by the Borg because they figure, the Kirk unit will have all this knowledge, and then that brings him back to life. Right, but then, through the TNG crew's help, he gets unborged, and so once he's unborged, he's
like Kirk of 9 at that point.
Well, no, he's like Picard is with
They're very selective about who can get borged and unborged.
You have to be like a long-standing captain of a flagship,
or hot,
Yeah.
or hot blonde with a giant rack that's willing to wear
a cat suit
at all times.
That's sad.
I mean, that is important. That's how you get ahead in life.
But those shows are better with her. Like Voyager gets better when she shows up. Is that wrong of me to say?
I just think that she could have done it in a regular uniform.
I mean, she probably could have, but then why have those gazongas?
Didn't they have to like grease her up just to get her into the
I
costume?
don't know, Ben. I wasn't there. I'd like to be there.
I'm going to imagine it either way.
That was my Jabba the Hutt face. But yeah, but I mean, the Voyager episodes do get better when she shows up.
If you say so.
I mean, because they're pretty terrible.
Don't get me
We
wrong.
might have to take your word for it. I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun. Wheel of Voyager.
I mean, if I had to miss episodes containing one, either Kess or Seven, I would rather miss the Kess episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, because she's dumb.
Because she sucks.
I like the 7
Her
of 9
character's dumb.
storylines better, body notwithstanding. And also I like the fact that she's the reason that we had Obama.
Yeah.
So
and then
those two things together.
And if I had to skip any Voyager episodes, I would skip the ones about the Doctor. I find him insufferable.
I like him.
Like, he's just the worst.
I still remember reading in like Starlog and different online
He
things.
doesn't even have a fucking name. His name is Doctor.
Yeah, the Doctor.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a shot. That's a Starlog shot
All the way
for those playing at home.
all the way through the series, there was continual talk each year of whether or not he would finally get a name. One of the names that was
Ben McCormick.
pushed forward was Zimmerman,
Ron Burgundy.
and then like 3 seasons later, we meet the actual
Like
Dr. Zimmerman, and he's the guy who
Created him. Yeah.
created him. Yeah. So
I mean, they might as well just call
putting a
him.
name.
They might as well just call him Dr. Data because it's the same general idea.
Photons be free.
You know, they just recycle some data shit. Like, oh yeah, he's
Yeah, we got
Data
these,
kind of.
data scripts that we never used. What can we do?
Yeah.
Change Android to hologram.
That was a really good sound of an eraser, Ben. I was impressed. And speaking of impressed, let's get back to the episode where Nog shows up at the restaurant and then he be eating some worms and he tells us about the Red Squad, which isn't about a bunch of guys that go down on chicks on their periods. No.
Mm-mm.
I would have really
Nothing
liked
that
it.
cool.
Although they do that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually part of the initiation to get in.
Got to go down on fucking Sally when she's fucking bleeding from her chotch, bro. You got to nog that shit.
No, Sally is from Necreon 7, where the females actually stay in a perpetual state of menses except for 2 days a month. So,
Okay, so you just got to
that's-
get him.
Yeah,
All right. That's a lot of blood loss.
That
But
helps
any-
with scheduling.
Yeah.
it does.
So then Nog tells him about Red Squad and how he wants to get in, but it's like, bitch, you've been there for 4 weeks. Like, ain't nobody like you, and you're a Ferengi.
And he was just talking about like how he was having trouble in classes and stuff.
Yeah,
And then he's like, I think it would be better if I was like in tougher classes.
because I got all the good grades.
Okay. All right, buddy.
And then Changeling is there and yada yada yada. But then we find out that the Changeling has taken the Admiral, right? Like, because your man is a bird and he lands, and I think the lady, whatever her name is, Bentine, I think she wants to bang.
Yeah, because her imagination is running
She's like-
away at that moment.
You can be
You can
anybody.
be anything or anyone.
You can be my.
Could you
High
look
school
like
kid.
Geordi except actually be well endowed and proficient?
and we can see
Geordi with
I have
Klingon genitalia.
and Geordi with eyes, and not fucking me on the holodeck without my knowing, like a creep. And didn't what's his
Ask me
name?
permission to make a hologram of it.
But didn't Barclay get into a bunch of trouble for doing that?
Yeah, with he made the entire bridge crew.
Yeah, Geordi goes off and makes somebody like, yeah, whatever. He's fine.
I don't
Jordy
think
didn't get
Barclay
caught.
was fucking them all, though.
You don't think so, really?
He was totally with Deanna.
I feel like he was too much of a pussy to even get laid with the holograms.
I don't
That's
know.
just my opinion.
What do you have? Like Wesley was the spoiled blue boy eating pie or something.
Stupid.
Fucking Wesley. I've come 180 on that.
Whatever, man. I don't care. Wesley's Wesley. He's depressed, but isn't everybody?
Well, that's the thing that finally just drove me over the fucking edge. It's like, oh yeah, write your little manifesto about being depressed. It's like, bitch, I call that Thursday.
Every Thursday
Since 1986.
Wesley came out and was saying that he's been battling chronic depression.
Will Wheaton?
Yeah, for many. No, Wesley. Will Wheaton's fine. It's weird. It's just Wesley.
My mom hates me.
I think you might have two problems.
My mom hates me. My dad's dead.
You have depression and schizophrenia.
And then I killed a guy during a training exercise. Why would they have Red Squad after that happened with the training exercises?
Yeah, what were those guys called then?
Those guys were called Dick Holes. Oh no! I remember they were called murderers. That's what it was.
Cover up squad.
I can't remember because when I first saw this again tonight, I was like, "Oh, Red Squad, like the team that had the crash with Wesley." Nope, never heard of these guys before. And then,
were they Red Squad too?
No,
they had some kind of name.
I thought they were Nova Squadron.
Yeah. Oh. That sounds like it.
So why didn't Cisco go, because he's like, we didn't have anything like that. And it's like,
you jealous?
You had Nova Squad back in your day. I mean, but didn't y'all have that?
They wouldn't let me in because I am a weirdo.
He's got two, I like Cisco. And I think Avery Brooks is a good actor, but he only has one level. He's got regular normal Cisco, and then his other one is frantic breathing, short of breath, kind of yelling.
Well, he's digital. Yeah. His performances are digital. There's no in-betweens of it. It's I am here.
0.
No, I am here.
Yeah, but it's just
here.
They're
betrayed all of these people, and they will not. I mean,
but it sounds like he's
Dalek.
He sounds like he's yelling at someone in a library. Or when you're pissed at your kids at the grocery store and you don't want to yell at them in front of everybody at Kroger, so you're just
doing it like this so you can get your point across.
And it's just I'll stay by the grocery cart, I swear.
I swear to God, I will beat your ass.
We are not getting Cookie Crisp.
That's the Cisco voice. He doesn't yell, but he's yelling, but he's not yelling. It's very odd. And other than that, he's just creeping. He's like, we're going to get it in.
We are going to get it in.
He's very hard on Nog, though.
hard on.
I mean, obviously, though. Nog, I mean, to be fair, Nog.
It's like he is treating him like he is a fucking cadet.
Well, he
never met him before.
Well, because he wants some hot info on the fucking Red Squad.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Was that? I can't remember.
That's episode 2.
Okay, because he's like, you're under the mistaken notion that I'm asking. Making. I was just like, ooh.
Because what happens in episode 1 is everybody's all freaking out about the Dominion, and then they mentioned
they knocked out the power.
Yeah, well, they mentioned the wormhole too, and then the power goes out, and they're like, well, obviously they're going to attack. That's what's going to happen.
On the way,
there's a fleet on the way. They're going to attack us. Blah 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 blah.
You gotta give the Chancellor emergency powers and activate the clone army.
Yeah, basically. And Leighton is all like, I got.
Except there was no trade disputes on this one.
It's a state of emergency, which makes it good. It's a state of emergency, and we got to do something. What are we going to do? And then they finally institute the state of emergency, and they're taking everybody's blood. And Cisco's dad gets all emotional and doesn't give him his blood. And I was convinced that he was a fucking changeling, which would have made sense because, in my mind, because Cisco is the head of security on Earth, so who better to learn about the plans than his
father?
Yeah. And then I called it when he was cutting himself.
Yep.
When he was chopping the things, he's going to cut his hand. And Stephanie looked at me like, what are you talking about? And sure as shit, he starts bleeding and then nothing happens. And
Benjamin Cisco?
Or no, what's his middle name?
Was it Antoine Lafayette Cisco or something like that?
Yeah. I think it was Lafayette.
Of course, it's something crazy.
Yeah.
Benjamin Lafayette Astroglide Cisco. The third? How dare you accuse me of being an alien?
He just died.
He keels over.
He just fucking had his death throw, and then he died.
Well, that was the running thought, I think, on our side watching it tonight.
Yeah. I thought he was going to die like every other scene. Like he would walk out because he would make this big deal about like how healthy he was and like, you know, how much he likes banging chicks or whatever. And then next thing you know, he's like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And I'm like, he's dead.
That's what he kept saying. That
And
motherfucker's
you
dead.
never saw him again.
Dead as fuck.
I was so surprised that he lived through the end of this
Jenny, I couldn't believe it either. I thought for sure that he was dead as shit.
He had like 2 heart attacks on the show.
No, he had a stroke at the end of the episode. And he's like, he's had a stroke. He's fine. But I guess
it's just a mild stroke.
They understand the brain so much better in
Right.
22.
It's just his MS. His MS is flaring up. No big deal.
It must be nice to live in a future where atherosclerosis is just like a minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
It's like, I just get a new aorta. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Fine. We got to remember though, like when, even though it's technology from like 70 years before this, when Chekhov was in 1986 on Earth, and he fell off the ship and had like severe head trauma, and they were talking about opening his head up and relieving the pressure and stuff.
God damn it!
And all McCoy does is take like the little doodolly and just stick to the top of his head and let it do its little thing.
McCoy's reaction to them doing like 20th century surgery on Chekhov is the greatest thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he?
Where are we, the Dark Ages?
Doesn't he mention like leeches or something like just like batshit crazy? It's awesome. I love it.
I still love the scene that leading into that when he's talking to the old lady while Kirk is looking for where Chekhov is, and she's in for dialysis.
Yeah.
He's like, dialysis? And he's like, here, take 2 of these. And walks off. And then later when they're escaping.
Her face when she's passed.
Dr. Cosby McCoy.
When they're leaving later, you know, the doctors are like, what the, you know, she has a new kidney. It's a, you know, fully functional. And she's just, you know, the old lady's just waving her hands. And
I'm going to suck your cock, McCoy.
Doctor gave me a pill and I got a new kidney. Doctor gave me a pill and I got a new kidney.
And my pussy works.
So apparently, as part of his regular carry shit around in his bag,
He just carries kidney pills.
he has this pill that will grow a kidney.
It's like one of those little sponges or whatever that you put it in water and it turns into a dinosaur. But it's a kidney.
He's just rooting around in there. Which one's the kidney pill? Oh, here we go. All right.
Oh, no, I actually gave that woman a piece.
Oh, shit, that was sea monkeys.
I do like the idea that they still have sea monkeys in the 23rd century.
Of course they do.
But yeah, the ship's navigators.
Like in the hollow magazines that they read, they have little advertisements for sea monkeys and X-ray
The
glasses.
X-ray specs.
Yeah.
That was wonderful, Ben. That was well done, crew. That was great. I thought I was going to pass out for a minute.
I thought you were too.
Oh, I caught the vapors there for a minute.
Loud.
But yeah, so they declare a state of emergency on Earth, and then as it ends, Jake and his dad are watching Starfleet security officers all over the place, and like just walking around with their pistols and their guns and all that shit, and doing all kinds of stuff, and
This is the
taking
part
blood from people.
where, you know, it always hit me because I had to, you know, I was still active duty after 9/11, and I still had to do a lot of traveling for my job. And I remember going to the airports and seeing National Guardsmen with rifles in airports. And after the initial shock of seeing that, this is the episode I think of.
Yeah.
Because it was like, holy shit, it's all, you know, happening. And it was just like, when's that next step? When do we have them, you know, in the town square or whatever, making sure there's no disturbances.
So, I mean, it's great, man. Like, it really is.
Scary stuff.
It is very scary stuff, and it's well done. I mean, it's, you know, and then the next episode, Paradise Lost, which feels weird that we're doing 2 of them at once, but let's just go for it, bro.
Who wrote these episodes?
Ronald D. Moore wrote Paradise Lost, and David Livingston wrote Homefront. I thought Homefront was great.
Oh yeah. I think both of them were great, but
Yeah.
Homefront really set things up.
Yeah, Homefront was a great episode because like it seems that everything they're doing is kind of just and I guess for the right reasons and yada yada
Well,
yada.
and that's the scary thing of how you get your liberties eroded away. Is that you do this well, it's like my theory on the when we're eventually going to end up with identity chips. Because right now you've got the little chip that you put.
All right, crazy.
You got your chip that you put in the dogs, and the vets can scan it, and here's your dog. The identity chip, right? Well, then you think, and we've got the program right now where you do the fingerprints and the pictures, and your kid gets the little, hey, if your kid gets kidnapped, now you've got this little picture card that it has all their information that you can give to the police, and that'll help.
Which sounds pretty rad, because if my kid gets kidnapped, I'd like to.
I want my kid, but hey, just think about it. What do you love more, your fucking dog or your kid? So just put the little tracking chip in there, and now if your kid gets kidnapped, you can track your kid.
It's true.
And then step by step, before long, we all got fucking chips, and it's for security. What if you were kidnapped? What if you're in a horrible accident and you're immobilized and you can't identify yourself? Now the EMTs can do the scan, know who you are, what your allergies are, and possibly save your life.
And the CIA knows where you are and what you're doing.
We would never track our own people.
Well, that's a great segue into Paradise Lost, because that's exactly what happens. Earth has been under martial law for quite some time, and Benjamin Sisko kind of notices that there's something weird going on here, that there was some transporter activity.
Yeah, anomalous activities after the power outage.
And they
Odo digs it up. He's like, oh, why did Red Squad beam to the academy?
Here's the thing. What was it for?
Bless you.
How long did the blackout last? Like 4 days or something?
Something like that.
So planet Earth, it's not like New York didn't have power. Planet Earth didn't have power.
Yeah, for 4 days.
I mean, just with today, that would be like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
If you've got this this is a society that is, you think we're dependent on technology. You get grumpy after an afternoon of, I can't get my cell phone and I don't have a signal. But these people, it's like most of these people don't even have fucking kitchens.
Yeah, they just eat everything off.
Everything's replicated.
I thought they didn't do a good enough job showing that.
Right, there would be riots pretty quick. I went to get water and the machine did not give me water, and
no,
so
because everybody is so enlightened at this time, they just take the opportunity to go camping and reconnect with themselves. I'm sure.
I want to see people in the streets eating other people.
It would be the purge immediately.
Yeah, like smashing people's heads in and then eating their brains.
Because there's people around here where the lights go out for like 20 minutes overnight, and there's people ready to burn the city down. So it's like
that happens after teams win sports championships.
Just let them blow up. It's okay.
Wait. Are they white? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Just kids being kids.
It's just minor property damage. It's okay.
Yeah. The entire section of town is burnt, but it's
as long as the football players who won didn't kneel during the Star Spangled Banner.
So stupid. But they can't even stay in the locker room now. Did you hear that one? That's just as bad, according to Stupid Face.
They should just leave the country, right? Aren't we all on the same page here?
Yeah, basically.
America,
man. I don't understand.
So many years I heard people, these macho conservative types, telling me that how important the First Amendment is, and I might not agree with what you're saying.
No, you misheard. They were saying Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Second Amendment. That's why they made it second, just to make sure you would pay attention.
And the thing is, too, it's like I was thinking about this today, and it's just...
But they can't count
the first one, you're not really sinking in, but the second one, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that one's a really important one.
All right, so you've got these people, these Border Patrol agents, like taking children away from their parents, right?
Mm-hmm. Only for changelings.
And then you've got kids getting murdered in schools by armed gunmen, but they're more worried about unborn children inside of mothers. It's like, where's your fucking priorities here, man?
Or kneeling.
Yeah, but I mean, like that. I was thinking about that today. It's like, I mean, you got these kids that are fucking they're gonna build like gulags for these kids, like tent cities for these fucking kids. But like, God forbid.
No, they're not gulags.
They just turn them over to traffickers, human traffickers, and let them deal with it.
Yeah, because
it's their problem now.
We don't have the budget to feed kids.
Stealing all these kids is really hard. But anyway,
bring in human traffickers as consultants. How do you guys handle all this?
huh.
What you do is you get a Connex box. You can stack these little buggers in there like 5 or 6 high. It's no problem.
I don't know if you're doing South Africa or New Zealand.
I don't know what
right now.
voice that is.
I thought it was Australian.
I think it's definitely either New Zealand or South Africa, but probably South Africa, right?
I have no idea. I got tired of doing those. I can't blame the South for every fucking thing, and that's my good.
No, do it.
What we're gonna do? We got these what you call the kids there, and what we gotta do is you just line them up. You say the ones that can work go over this way, and the hot ones might potentially be hot. Put them over that way.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, so after a while, I'm telling you, and I got this Arab over there. He's gonna pay me about $500. Cute one. So you just bring him on in.
I gotta tell you, anybody who makes it through this entire episode without being offended at least once,
yeah,
you're on a watch list.
You're on a watch list.
Yeah. I honestly don't know how I have a job someday.
Well, I mean, you're doing it in a voice. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I tried that at work, and I was just dropping the N-bomb left and right.
Well, I mean,
it was in a voice.
I was trying to sound like DMX. Like, no, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I saw Django Unchained.
Those weren't any lyrics.
Well, no, that was the problem. Is I saw Django Unchained for the first time Sunday night, and I
still haven't
heard
watched that. I still haven't watched it.
And there is a lot of use of the N-word,
because I
Probably
can't.
not as much as when you played Grand Theft Auto online the other day.
Well,
though.
that was the other thing, is to kind of to cleanse my mind of all the hate and violence of Django Unchained. I then played Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
And so and then growing up in Alabama, the N-word is just like hovering just under the surface, and I'm afraid that I'm going to accidentally, slip with it. And it's like, hey, are you going to eat the rest of that toast? And then just N-word. And it's like, what? Hey, how many?
What kind of toast are you eating?
Well, it's
very, very racist toast.
It's dark brown toast, I guess. I don't know what.
Very racist.
So
Is it white toast or is it other?
It's other.
So then, after a little bit of digging, they realized that Leighton is trying to
Pumpernickel, wheat.
Yeah, it's
for what?
Other. It's other. Leighton is trying to fucking overthrow the Federation president.
Well, the president, he wasn't even born here. He don't love Earth like we do.
Exactly. That was pretty good.
Like he was born in Kenya, man. He was born in space Kenya. You don't give a fuck.
Like, what's happening on this episode?
Like, dude, this is creepy as shit. Like, yeah.
I mean, it was like you just go through and change changeling to terrorist, change Earth to America, and you just have this whole series of like, what's going on? We're gonna build a space wall.
Basically, yeah. But then my question, once they realized that it was like a coup attempt and they're doing all this stuff, now I can get back to my original question from the beginning of the episode, which before the crew knew about the bombing, the wormhole was going crazy.
Right, was randomly opening and closing.
Yeah.
So,
and they reveal later that there was this lieutenant
who was manipulating the wormhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going to bring him from DS9 to Earth as evidence against Leighton. But then did Leighton know about the bombing and not do anything about it to kind of push this forward? Or was Leighton behind the bombing? Or
I would think that because there's actually, I mean, obviously we see the changelings. They're on Earth.
There's 4 changelings on Earth.
Yeah, they're causing problems. So I think that they knew, like Starfleet intelligence or somebody knew that there were changelings on Earth. Like they had discovered them already, and they knew they were up to something. So they figured it was only a matter of time, maybe, until something happened.
This is very precise because the wormhole is acting strange.
It is pretty coincidental.
And then literally 5 minutes later,
we get word.
It does take some time for word to come from Earth. Right?
Well, here's the other thing, and I've never really thought about it or considered it before now, but, you know, with the lithium crystals and steel beams, like Jenny brought up earlier, when we watched the video of the Antwerp explosion, it was Antwerp, right?
Yeah. Not Antwerp, it was Antwerp, yeah, something like that.
And so the vase in the background starts to change into a changeling.
Yeah, but they don't ever.
And then there's the explosion, right?
Uh-huh.
So my theory, and now that we've kind of brought this all together, is that Starfleet intelligence knows that there's these at least, you know, one or two changelings on Earth, and this is where it gets god awful. But Space 911 was an inside job because they've tracked this one changeling.
Space 911 on Earth.
Starfleet, yeah, Space 911 on Earth. Starfleet intelligence causes the explosion at Antwerp
because they knew the changeling.
Because they knew a changeling was there, and then they could prove, oh, look, there was a changeling there.
So you're
like
saying
they were kind of counting on somebody to enhance the video and say, oh, there it is.
Because the changeling was there just to observe the
maybe they thought they might kill it, and there'd be some changeling remains there that they could, you know.
Right, but either way, that you know they were kind of counting on one way or the other.
I don't even think the changeling's there. I think this is an inside job all the way because the
But we do know, like, changelings are obviously on Earth because we see them with the Siegel thing and then with the O'Brien thing later.
He says there's 4 of us here.
Changelings are clearly on Earth. Like, I'm not saying that I'm completely 100% behind that. But my point is, the bomb exploded. Obviously, because that's what the whole fucking episode's about. But they never found the changeling responsible. Like, he wasn't injured in the explosion. How does that happen?
That does make sense, though, because they seem to be pretty resilient. Like, the only thing that can hurt him is a specific phaser setting, it seems like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, because Odo has taken some impacts. And
it just seems very convenient that the wormhole just happens to be malfunctioning, and then literally 45 seconds later, we got this message from Earth.
Well, but didn't they say that this had been happening for at least a few days or something, right? The wormhole like that, stuff. Yeah, so it was happening before the bombing happened. So it could be, if they were trying to time this whole thing to get the fleet in place and to knock out power on Earth and everything like that, then they would probably do it within a week or so, like move the invasion fleet into
the wormhole
Sector 001.
So what you guys are saying is...
Well, the explosion was on the 23rd, and then the coup is scheduled for the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like within a 1 month period.
So what you're saying is that Leighton knew about the bombing but didn't do anything to stop it.
No, I'm saying... I think
he knew that the
bombing. He knew
changeling would be there.
Was there. He caused the bombing.
Okay.
So that people would associate it with the changeling.
So you're saying the same thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
Except, but I mean, you're not. I don't think we're agreeing on why the changeling was there.
Okay.
But my thing is, I think that Starfleet intelligence tracked at least one of the changelings, knew where he was going to be, and then caused the explosion.
That's a really good episode too.
So that they could blame the changeling. You know? And like I said, I've never in 20-something years, I've never thought about that. But now I'm like so full of conspiracy theories because of real 9/11.
It was Illuminati.
That now I'm actually starting to think that Star Trek 9/11 was a fucking inside job.
Fucking space George Soros. What
about all the money?
The president's not even born on Earth.
What about her emails?
Lock her up.
Fucking lock up that
Kira Nerys had a private email server in her quarters.
Fucking lock up that space.
Well, and that's the thing. She was using a fucking private mail. When Cisco talks to Kira back on DS9, he goes through her Bajoran, her B mail.
Slides up in them B mails. But I mean, and then the pieces kind of fall into place, and you realize Leighton's guilty, and then yada yada
Oh,
yada.
then they set Cisco up.
Yeah, then they set Cisco up.
He's changeling.
Yeah, which was really cool.
And the president's fucking clueless.
Cisco takes the fall and then manages to escape. And then,
Do you think they have a changeling prisoner that they haven't told anybody about?
Well, where'd he get the changeling juice from?
Yeah, exactly.
Cisco even
Maybe that was the one that died in the explosion, and we didn't find any remains.
I was going to say, I personally think now that we're talking about all this stuff, I think that maybe they have a changeling that they use that's in on the plot. That he was there intentionally at the meeting and
wait, I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay.
Kind of helped to set up this whole conspiracy. And then, can I borrow some of your changeling goo for a minute? Put it in this syringe.
Sure, you just don't want to watch me. You just don't want to watch me. You don't want to leave. It's really
Look at my
weird.
eyes. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes.
Come out
Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Okay, here's your stuff.
Exactly. That's exactly how it happened.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that, like, because it seems like this episode is so well done, but I almost feel like with all the stuff that we're bringing up, Ronald D. Moore, you could have made a whole nother awesome episode.
Well,
I thought this was a pretty good episode.
No, it's amazing.
I don't think we at this time wanted there to be a corrupt admiral. We wanted there to be a conspiracy,
but not a corrupt Starfleet.
We didn't want this thing to be the Bush administration.
Okay. All right. It
Right.
makes sense.
It's like there's no Space Dick Cheney in this yet.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean,
Space Halliburton.
Yeah. But I mean, as like Star Trek episodes go, I mean, this is the best Star Trek episode I've maybe ever seen. Nice hat, Dennis. What's that? I can't hear you.
Are you still muted, Dennis?
You're muted.
Do you have lettuce on your head?
Mute.
It's got too real, so I had to put my tinfoil hat on.
Is that what you did? You did that for a sight gag?
Yeah.
That's really good. Dennis actually is wearing a piece of tinfoil on his head because this is getting too conspiracy theories. I thought
Probably a good idea.
I thought your kids were awake or something, but he did all that for a sight gag on a podcast.
Exactly. Hey, you can see it too. Sign up for the Patreon.
There you go.
How many Patreons do we have now? I think it's like
24.
24.
Damn, son.
Well, I can remember when it was. Well, I remember when it was none. But
we've been hovering at 24 for quite some time.
We need that one more. Get that push to get one of your friends to sign. If you're listening and you haven't signed up for Patreon, help us make that 25.
Yeah, it's very fun.
That quarter century mark. Be the 25th Patreon.
Do it. But anywho,
you listen to every fucking episode. You sit there with your fucking slack jaw jerking off, listening to our fucking shit.
That's just you, man.
As I'm sitting here working my ass off, not doing voices, and
Hypnotoads working hard over Ben's shoulder.
This was Ben trying to offend anybody left who had not been offended previously. Now he's coming after you specifically.
Gotta do it. I mean, if you're gonna do it,
slack-jawed wanker.
If you're gonna offend, and I love the
fucking subscribe. Fucking subscribe. Don't be a cunt weasel.
I love it. All right, that's a weird term, but I'm down with it.
Most offensive episode. It's great.
I love it.
Finally, we did it, guys. We did it.
All right, we're retiring from podcasting after this episode.
We could have saved it for episode 300, but we did it a little early.
282, bro. It's like that Simpsons episode.
Coming up on the 300?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've still got a way. I mean, we're 18 out. I mean, we'll get there.
I'm having chest before we're going to be like finishing up. What is this? Third season? Fourth season?
It's middle of third.
We're middle third?
No, we're in fourth.
No, we're middle fourth.
Oh, excuse me, middle fourth. Excuse me.
Right. Fourth's here.
Yeah, by then we'll be in the fifth.
All right,
season.
I made a mistake. Jeez, Louise, fucking bite my head off, you cocks.
Well, no, just it's amazing though that we're that far into it. We're almost done with DS9.
Yeah, we're about halfway there. And I got to tell you, this is the best Star Trek episode I think I've ever seen.
Wow, this is definitely one of my favorites.
It's got to be like top 5 because it's so just.
It's that, especially for a two-parter. Neither part is bad.
Yeah,
and that seems to be the usual thing.
The TNG model was great first part. It all falls apart in the second.
Or it's like a completely different tone from one episode to the next. And that's why I felt like with this one, we almost kind of had to review both at the same time because it's not like it's split in the middle. It was just it was like watching a movie.
Okay, well, now that you bring that up, it's like on the TNG two-parters, it seems like there would be like, because that tone change is so severe, you would almost think there were like two different production crews, like two different writers that do it.
Well,
these two episodes actually did have two different writers, but it was still very together. The tone was very even through the entire thing.
Now, do you think some of that had to do with the fact that a lot of the Star Trek Next Generation two-part episodes were first and first episodes of seasons?
And so they had the summer off in between?
That not necessarily, though, because there's a lot of them that were just right in the middle of a season. That
I don't think they took the summer to like film the second part.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were both filmed back to back, right?
You think they were filmed back to back?
Were they? I thought
the TNG two-parters.
Yeah,
you don't think so?
Like Times Arrow and stuff. Like, all right, guys, see you later. You think they filmed them all?
See you after the summer.
Like they're going to keep that cliffhanger secret, and all the little ears that are listening to get it in the next issue of Starlight Magazine wouldn't.
No, Ben, no.
I would feel like if nothing else, continuity just would be a pain in the ass to try to film it.
I've often
when Brent Spiner gets that face tattoo over the summer. God damn it!
So wait a minute, so Brent Tattoo became one of them sleepy rappers?
Yeah.
Little Data.
Little Data.
Little Data here, y'all. Little Data.
Yeah.
I saw something online.
Drinking his drink.
There's like over like 250 artists on Spotify with the name Lul.
Oh, really?
Like there's just been like an outbreak of all these Luls. But yeah, so but I mean, this is easily top 5 Star Trek episodes I've ever seen. Yep. So I'm gonna say it's like a 9.5, 10.
Damn.
The scale only goes to 9, Bob. Oh my God.
So good. It's so.
But this one goes to 10.
Even Stephanie, who hates this show, we watched the first episode. She was like, "That was really good," and she hates DS9. Yeah. So I mean, for her to come out and be like, "That was a really good episode," like, yeah.
No, the true test is, would your mom watch it?
Probably not, because she'd be agreeing with all the fucking. Because my mom's a dumb Trumper, so she'd be all like, "Yeah, get him out of here." Fuck yeah, get rid of those damn aliens. Gotta lock them up. So she'd be rooting for Leighton.
Yeah.
Make Earth great again and shit.
That is the one thing they could have done in this episode to really make it feel real, is it starts going from, keeping the changelings out to we need to make Earth for humans again type of thing.
Well, that happens later in Enterprise. They have a guy like that.
Well, yeah, but that's before this. Yeah. That's 200 years before this almost.
But they have no, but they do kind of mention, like, at one point they're just like, well, if we get rid of Leighton, everybody's going to be super pissed off because people feel really safe and secure at this point.
Yeah.
They even kind of bring that up a little bit. So it's like, they really like his Eagle cover band. They're I don't know. Dennis, what do you think about this episode?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I give him a 9 as well. Or
Jenny?
9.
I'm also going to give it a 9.
Ben?
Well, I want to make Star Trek great again, and this episode was very offensive, so I was thinking something like a 2.
Didn't like the way it ended?
No.
The bad guys won.
I was hoping that Leighton would have killed himself.
No, I definitely will give this a 9. This is one of the few 9s, and this is one of the episodes when I always talk about it during the early seasons where it's like, shit, I don't want to. I'm trying to rate each episode honestly, but then knowing what's to follow, you're like, yeah, this was a good episode, but I don't
caught up in. There's nothing wrong with getting caught up in that moment, Ben. Just go with it, man.
It's true.
But I mean, no, I'm saying
because this one's a 9 doesn't mean another one you can't enjoy just as much.
Well, no, I'm saying though, but this one being a 9 is why I rated some of the previous episodes lower.
All right.
Because I knew this episode was coming, and it's like, yeah, you don't deserve to be a 9 when this episode exists. Right. But then I have previous 9s, like back into third season, into second season with Jim Hadar and the Odyssey and that whole saga. I mean, there were some really good episodes, but this is just a fucking fantastic episode.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's
We
good
didn't
to
talk
see
about the awesome space battle where
I
Worf
know.
was just like, "Fuck it, let's just fight him then."
Yeah,
I'm going to take on this Excelsior class starship with my little.
Those are pretty old by then, though.
yeah, very old.
But it was souped up. That one was souped up.
Yeah, and the design might be old, but it doesn't necessarily mean that ship is old.
And to be fair, though, I mean, they're flying around in the Defiant. I mean, that thing is meant to bust up Borg cubes and shit. So I mean,
I love seeing that thing shoot, man.
Yeah,
Like,
Defiant's awesome.
Oh man,
Ben's
I
gonna
mean-
go jerk off now.
Worf was killing folks. I mean, he killed 24 motherfuckers or whatever on another ship. Like, you don't give a fuck.
yeah, well,
Mhm.
Today is a good day to die.
don't poke a Klingon. I
Yeah.
mean, that's unless you really mean it.
I love Worf. Like, God, the show is great anyway, but the fact that Worf is there just makes it so much better. And Worf was just a rating stunt, wasn't he, to try to get ratings up?
Well, to get people to notice it because
Yeah.
everybody was watching Voyager. But,
Yeah, that show was shit. Show was
Well,
garbage.
and that was the thing, though, is that Voyager was
I gotta
getting
watch a
all
show.
the-
I don't mean to cut, but I gotta watch a show about a hologram and his hologram family. Get the fuck out of here, man! Like, really?
one episode, dude.
But still, I mean, that shit stuck with me, man.
It hurt me, man.
Because I'm watching this, I'm going, what the fuck am I watching? None of this is real.
You know how his daughter died, right? She was playing Parisi Squares. That dangerous ass game.
I thought you were gonna say she hung herself while masturbating.
In
That'd been-
Thailand.
That would be dark.
And, yeah, that'd have been good.
Jesus.
That would have been good.
No, there was a guy at work that he was talking about Star Trek, and he'd never seen DS9, and this was before I'd gotten sick, and I'd mentioned, well, I was like, hey, we do the podcast, you should really give DS9 a second chance, especially he's like, I watched it when it first came out, and I didn't get through the first season,
You're a dick.
and I'm like, dude, go back, watch it again. And then today I was at the office, and I'm sitting at my desk, and he stops by the door, and he's just like, hey, remember when you recommended that Star Trek series for me? I was like, yeah, DS9. He's like, yeah, I'm on season 6 now.
Yeah, I'm convinced that people who don't like DS9 didn't watch it.
Yeah, or need to watch it again, because that's the thing. It's a completely different show when you watch it now
Yeah.
than when you watched it when you were in your 20s or your teens.
It's fucking great. Like,
We've all
everything.
grown up a lot,
Yeah.
as a society just because of the shit that's happened over the last 25 years.
It's an amazing show. And like I said, I read an article a few months ago about how, like, it's the healthiest black father-son relationship probably in the history of television.
Wait, which one? Grandpa to Ben
Oh,
or
I mean-
Ben to Jake?
Kind of all of them almost. Like, you have these 3 black men that love each other unconditionally.
Yeah.
And on television, I mean, that's very rare, for black men. That's fucked. That's why Florida Evans was pissed when they killed John on Good Times way back in the day. She was like, nah, dude, like, you don't see this on TV. So, I mean, even socially.
In Star Trek, there really aren't a whole lot of good parent relationships. Like Troy and her mom, they don't really like.
They're
I
really
mean,
crushing.
That's dysfunctional. That's the very realistic.
Riker and his dad don't get along.
To be fair, that relationship with
Actually, the black family's the only ones that get along because Geordi and his parents were great until they went and killed his mom.
On accident, I think, or whatever. But it's just mainly because Troy thinks her mom dresses too hot, and they end up on the Maury show. My mom dresses too skanky.
She's hanging out with bucket people.
Oh my god!
Y'all don't know me. Y'all don't know me.
I would love to see Star Trek Maury where Deanna Troy's out there going, my mom just dresses too sexy.
And they just start fighting.
She starts hitting on Maury.
So, Maury, tell me.
Yes, I will do that with you, Maury. I know what you're thinking. Oh, me and Connie Chung at the same time? Okay.
Data's sitting there waiting for his DNA results, and they're like, you are not the father.
It's like, Data, why are you sweating? How are you sweating?
Data, you're no one's father.
It's literally impossible.
Lol.
I thought you were laughing.
Dork.
God, that episode
His hands
sucked.
were moving so fast.
Like we love TNG, but like, man,
They had some stinkers.
yeah. But I just the thing is though, it's weird because I haven't connected with the cast as much as I have with the TNG cast, and maybe that's just because familiarity. But like, I still feel like some of it's just so odd. Like I like Deep Space Nine almost, despite some of the cast members that I just can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
Cisco's hard to like.
Mm-hmm. But you have people that you can like. You have Quark. You have Odo.
I love me some Quark.
I mean, if I could just, I mean, we talked about Space Odd Couple. I mean,
Yeah.
where it's just Odo and Quark for a few seasons.
I
mean,
love that.
I think that's one of the things that really works about DS9 though is like, do you have to make all the characters not really fit together like a bunch of pieces from different jigsaw puzzles? Because that's what they are. You know, they're all from different backgrounds and organizations and everything, trying to make this little experiment called DS9 work.
And when I say I don't like Cisco, I mean it's the acting choices made by Avery Brooks a lot of the times that I just find odd. Like I think the character's fine, but it's just like the character, like why would he do this?
I think it makes it more fun though.
I agree.
I'm
if it was a Patrick Stewart performance or whatever, it would still be great, obviously, but it wouldn't be as much fun.
I'm counting down to there's a episode coming up that's just it is going to just blow you guys away.
Is it the one? There's one Avery Brooks episode that I saw where I watched ahead, and he's perfect, and it makes me think he was miscast.
Mm.
Are you talking? Do you know what I'm talking about, Ben?
Not off the top of my head.
Did we just watch that one?
No, I have to tell. No, that was a
The
good one
holodeck?
too. The holodeck one was good, but this is a different one where he plays. He's undercover. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ben?
I know what you're talking about, but that's not the one I'm thinking
That's the
about.
one I'm thinking, and he's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think like, oh, he would have been better doing that than being this guy. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. I'm being very vague, and we'll get back.
Yeah. I
How
don't
far
want-
ahead is it? Like, are we going to get there soon?
Season 5. I think it's season. I think it's a season 5 episode.
So next month,
yeah, a couple weeks.
tomorrow.
Just watch ahead, man. God, DS9's great. It's just great.
Yeah.
It's
I
great.
highly encourage it.
Yes.
So
There you
yeah,
go.
if I wasn't clear, I gave these 2 episodes a 9.
I think we all did. Like it's just
9s across the board.
If you're watching this episode and you're just going like, I don't get it, then just stop fucking watching and poke your eyeballs out.
I mean, go start. I don't know what are you going to watch instead?
Go watch Voyager, you dick.
Don't even watch Star. I don't want you watching Star Trek anymore. Just go watch The Expanse or something, whatever that shit is.
Have you
Of course,
guys?
you know, as much as we talk about Voyager, like people who are 10 years younger than us,
Love it.
that's one of their favorite. That's
Mhm.
a lot of people. That's their favorite.
Well,
Star
sometimes
Trek show.
it just
'Cause
matters
it's what they grew up
you
on.
watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Fucking millennials ruining Star Trek.
God damn it.
Jesus.
I mean,
Well,
maybe
like
it's good. Maybe
Charlene-
we'll have a different opinion of it when we go back and watch it. Who knows?
Charlene loves Voyager, and I don't think she's that much different age than we are. Like,
There-
I think she's close to my age.
Go in and watching some of Voyager. Like there's some character. Like I love Chakotay. I think he's awesome. That's kind of it though right now. And I like Janeway. I think Janeway's cool.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
kind of no nonsense, and I dig her. But like
She's the main reason I'm looking forward to the show,
Yeah.
to be honest.
some of the
She's
cast,
like the only reason that I watched Orange is the New Black after the
She-
first couple
she was
episodes.
amazing.
She's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
But I mean, some of the cast on that show was whack. Like Paris is whack. The Chinese kid is whack. Tuvok is whack. Like there's just all these fucking whack Joes running around. Like, nah, man, you guys are all corny. Like, it's just not. I don't know. But why are you making that face?
Ben's getting offended over there.
Tuvok's corny, son. Yeah,
Ben's gonna cry.
I mean, I'm just saying, Tuvok's corny, son.
All right.
I do like Puerto Rican Klingon. I think she's cool. Torres is cool.
Yeah, Balana. Yeah.
The doctor's whack.
Mm.
I mean, it's just corny. Look at Ben's. I'm sorry, Ben. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
What? I'm fine.
What?
I know that I'm fine. My wife gives me that I'm fine often. I know it means you're not
She
fine.
says it in Turkish, and Dennis is like, I don't fully understand what this means. Should I put my penis back in my pants? I think I should. You know what I will.
Right. Sure. Sure. Going once, going twice.
It's fine.
You don't want to go on that watch list.
Wow. That shit really happened.
You guys are wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Great.
You know who's absolutely wonderful? The fans who are still listening.
Hypnotoad is wonderful.
Nobody's
and the
listening.
greatest.
Nobody got this far.
Anybody who made it this far in the podcast and isn't like trying to find some way to dox us or send our names to like the alt-right's, Nazi headquarters.
As I believe I told Bob yesterday, I'm sure I'm already on a list somewhere. I check off too many boxes.
You really do. You really do. Me and Jenny are good though.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
white.
I'm already on the Nazi watch list.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys that story after.
Oh, fun. All right, well, let's get to that then. I want to hear that. All right, so thank you.
I deleted it from an episode of Mouthy Broadcast where I talked about it because
Really?
Oh, I can't
I've
wait to
said
hear.
too much.
All right, well, let's listen to that. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Bye.